Claude Swanson. I'm a physicist. Undergraduate degree in physics at MIT, class of 69. PhD in physics from Princeton, class of 76. I did engineering consulting with the government through consulting companies for 20 or 30 years. What got me into physics was my real true love, which is what's called unified field theory, which is like the theory of everything. It's like the deepest questions of science, how things really work. For me, the enduring thing is that if you put together this particular set of equations, you have to know a lot about physics. Okay, and from what I've seen of Stan, he doesn't. You have to know a lot. And there aren't many people who would be smart enough to be able to choose these particular equations, put them together. Most people would pick a random set of equations. They pick something that looks complicated, that maybe has no meaning to it. These equations actually relate to propulsion and faster than light travel. I mean, I think one thing that they give is a sense of credibility to Stan. That these equations are beyond what he can come up with on his own, then they are an indication of a higher intelligence interacting with him. The more I have looked into them over the years and the more I've figured out different pieces of it, the more impressed I am that they seem to actually describe how they do some of the things that we find anomalous. How they go faster than light, how they get from some distant star to here. In our current science, even maybe 20 years ago, those things were viewed as impossible. What's been happening in the past 15 years or so is there's a group of leading edge scientific thinkers who seem to be following along a similar path, and they're not the mainstream scientists, but there are more and more indications that seem to back up the equations that Stan has been writing. So there's a trend here, a growth that kind of says, yeah, these might really work. One of his equations relates to a solution that was found in the 90s by a physicist named Alcubierre, a Mexican physicist, that is the first proposal for how you can take gravity and make faster than light travel from it. He found a solution, a mathematical solution, that gives you a warp drive. Okay, that's what they called it. Now, it involves some conditions that are not realizable in our current physics today, but still it's a step in that direction. And as you look more into it, you find, and that's one of Stan's equations. And as you look into it, the other people, Puthoff and Robert Dicke, whose equations also show up in Stan's work, they're also working on the same idea, how to change space-time in ways we didn't know was possible before. Right now, what I'm picking up is that there's a theme. And the theme is that it is possible to get from there to here. Our present conventional view is we couldn't have ET visitors because it takes too long for them to get from there to here, at the speed of light or less. But suppose there are ways of warping space and time, or going faster than light. And that's what some of these equations are hinting at.